So I've been getting quite excited about the referendum on the alternative vote.
Hello, my name's Nathan, and I'm going to tell you why I think you should vote yes to AV on the referendum on the 5th of May. Now, I hate it when people disagree with me, especially when I know that I'm right. Now, normally, when I make this statement, I can't prove that I'm right. The claim is based on a feeling I have, or just plain arrogance on my part. But with regard to the AV referendum on the 5th of May, I know I'm right, and I know it's right to vote yes to AV, because this no to AV leaflet dropped onto my doorstep, and I read through it and I realised I could disprove every single one of the points they raised in this leaflet, just with, simple, truthful facts. I could dismiss every single one of the points they made. Now, but because it's not very effective me shouting at a leaflet, I thought I'll pull apart this campaign's lies on the internet, where people can see it and shit, because if the world is watching me shout at a leaflet, it's better than no one watching me shout at a leaflet, just in my kitchen or something. So let's just start off. The first page says in big bold letters that AV will cost £250 million, 130 million of which will be spent on electronic voting machines, which has already been reported as false. The government has no plans to use electronic vote counting machines if we switch to AV. All that is needed is pen and paper and people whose job it is to count votes and, supposedly be good at maths. It also states that £26 million will be spent on explaining the new system to voters. Now, this really gets me, as this campaign seems to be fought on the basis that all voters are idiots and cannot cope with the strenuous task of putting numbers in boxes. I'll save the government £26 million right now. Okay, this is how the AV system works. You rank candidates in order of preference. If no candidate gets 50% of the vote, the candidate with the least first preferences is eliminated, and their second and other preferences are redistributed among the reigning candidates. This process continues until one of the candidates reaches 50%. They're simple. And even if you didn't understand it, you don't have to, because you're not the one going to be counting the votes. All you have to do is rank your candidates in order of preferences. All you have to do as a voter is put some numbers in some boxes. And there, you should get a fairer electoral system out of it than the one we currently have. And I don't know if you saw this the other day, the No campaign's referendum broadcast basically consisted of dumbfounded youths looking down the camera going, "I don't get it," which, isn't helpful to anyone, really. Another claim that No to AV camp makes about the cost of switching to AV is that Australia, who has the AV system, it costs hundreds of millions more pounds to stage an election there than it does in England. But when you think about it, Australia is massive compared to England, so you can't really compare the two. It's like comparing the food bill of Rick Waller and Victoria Beckham. It just doesn't add up. The next point they make is here, the winner should be the one that comes first. Well, the analogy of a race doesn't really work, because it's a completely different thing to, voting for candidates. But the way they've represented it is there's a smug, bastard-looking man in blue cheering because he's won the race, and then there's a haggard old third man who, with an arrow coming out of him, saying the winner under AV. Now, this isn't true. The winner shouldn't be the one that comes first, because the race analogy just doesn't work with electoral systems. The winner should be the one who has the majority of support and the majority of backing of all its constituents. The MPs, the truth of the matter is that first past the post is designed for a two-party system. We no longer have a two-party system in this country. The support of third and other parties has been growing, and in the 2010 election, no less than 9.8% of the votes in Great Britain were cast for an other candidate than the top two parties. This means that MPs can get elected with a tiny minority and not have the support of most of the people that they are supposed to be representing. The claim made in this leaflet that the second and third best can win because is nonsense. The candidate that wins has to have over 50% of the vote. So this leaflet also says that AV is unpopular because only 3 countries use it, but whenever I've heard someone use this argument, there always seems to be a hint of racism in what they say, and the fact that other countries are inferior to Britain. They're like, oh, only Australia, Fiji, and Papua New Guinea use it. Oh, what are those tin pot countries? No, which is a general undertone which I've picked up. But also, yes, no, only 3 countries use it. But the truth is, no country in Europe uses first past the post system because they all know that it's not a fair system. Then on the back of the leaflet it features the gurning face of Liberal Democrat leader / Conservative whipping boy Nick Clegg with the title AV leads to broken promises. Now, as if every government elected under first past the post has kept all of their manifesto pledges ever. That is complete bollocks. It's not the electoral system that leads to broken promises, it's power that leads to broken promises. We all know that this man right here, Nick Clegg, is a backstabbing, lying, cheating, power-hungry, promise-breaking dickhead, but that's not AV's fault. The issue of electoral reform should transcend party politics. If we get a fairer voting system, it will last long after Nick Clegg and all the current politicians are dead, both politically and just generally. The truth of the matter is, the only people who want to keep the old first past the post system are the Tory front bench, all Labour members over 60, and the BNP. Now, if you had to choose a list of groups of people who you don't want to be associated with, it will be those 3 groups, along with paedophiles, murderers, and people who actively like the sitcom Mrs. Brown's Boys. It then goes on to say that AV would mean more hung parliaments. But the truth is that because we've moved so far away from the two-party system and more people are voting for other parties, that more hung parliaments are likely to occur under this current system of first past the post. So we may as well have hung parliaments which are elected more fairly. Before the election, the Conservatives were denouncing hung parliaments and coalitions, saying they would spell the end of Britain as we know it, and that the 4 horsemen would ride in as planes fell from the sky. But now they are constantly reminding us how well the country is being run under the coalition. And if coalitions were the norm and were to be expected, then parties and voters would be able to take into account what compromises could end up being made before the election, so we would have a better idea of what promises would get broken. The fact is, on a personal level, that I live in a safe Conservative seat, so I feel alienated and like I can't place an effective opposition to the government who are doing things which I despise. Millions of people feel the same. The only way we can be heard under this system is by smashing windows at Millbank or shouting "twack" every time David Cameron's face appears on our TV screen. Everything in the No campaign, everything it is spewing out is lies, and yet the public seems to be buying it. But the truth is, you've got to vote yes if you want an end to tactical voting. You've got to vote yes if you want to end MPs getting a minority vote. You need to vote yes to make politicians work harder for your vote. And you need to vote yes if you want to make your vote actually count, actually mean something. I beg you, we may not have this opportunity again. And yes, AV isn't perfect. It's no single transferable vote. But it's better than this system. And I don't want to stoop this low. But if it will win some votes, I shall invoke some false idea of nationalism by sticking in a quote from Winston Churchill, who seems to kind of act like a beacon for persuasion for people who still think that he was right about everything and embodies everything which is good about this country. After the 1950 election, Winston Churchill said in the House of Commons, "We must not be..." I can't do a Churchill impression. I'll try and do the dog instead. Or we must not be blind by the anomaly which has brought to the House of Commons 186 representatives who are returned only by a minority of those who voted in their constituencies. Nor can we overlook the constitutional injustice done by 2,600,000 voters who have been able to return only 9 members. I therefore propose that we should set up a select committee to inquire on the whole question of electoral reform. Even bloody Churchill didn't like first past the post. And if you are still besotted and have some romantic ties with the tired, old, unfair system of first past the post, then think of this. AV can be seen as a mere modification of first past the post, as it retains the link between the constituent and the MP. It retains that constituent link between MP and voter. But the MP has to work harder for the voter. This is the good thing. And it's far from proportional. Yes, it's not perfect. It's far from proportional. And the system would even leave the Liberal Democrats at a considerable disadvantage. You know, they would probably gain, judging if they built on the last election results, they'll probably only gain about 20 seats. And this is, of course, assuming that they don't just get annihilated by angry voters at the next election. So, please, I hope I've convinced you. Don't throw this opportunity away. You won't get another chance, and then this country will be stuck in the wilderness, the political fair votes wilderness for the next 100 years or so. Please, 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 on the 5th of May, I beg you, trust me, look at me. I beg you, vote yes to AV on May the 5th. Thank you very much.
I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. And I don't care if that pleases Nick Clegg. I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. Representative democracy will last long after we're all dead. I'm saying yes. 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 I'm saying yes.